No one came to Emma's surgery. I sat in the pediatric waiting room for 6 hours, watching other families arrive with balloons, stuffed animals, flowers. Grandparents clutched coffee cups with worried expressions. Parents held hands while their children colored in activity books. Everyone had someone. I had my phone, a cold coffee that had gone lukewarm hours ago, and silence. Emma was 7, getting her tonsils removed. It wasn't life-threatening, but she was terrified. She cried the night before, asking if it would hurt, if I'd be there when she woke up, if Grandma would bring her favorite cookies afterward. I promised I would be there. I promised everything would be okay. What I couldn't promise was that anyone else would care. I'd sent the text to the family group chat 3 weeks ago. Emma's surgery is scheduled for November 8th at 7 a.m., Children's Hospital. Mom replied, "That's so early, you know I'm not a morning person." My sister replied, "Can't, hair appointment." My brother didn't reply at all. Dad sent a thumbs up emoji. I didn't push. I never push. That's what I'd learned over 32 years of being the family disappointment. The one who got pregnant at 25 without being married, the one who kept the baby despite everyone's advice that I should consider other options, the one who chose graphic design instead of something stable like accounting or nursing. The one who somehow kept showing up to every family event, every birthday, every holiday, even when they made it painfully clear my presence was an obligation they tolerated, rather than a joy they celebrated. The surgeon came out at 1:47 p.m. Everything went perfectly. She did great. I nodded, blinking back tears of relief. I took a photo of the empty waiting room around me, all those vacant chairs, and almost posted it to social media. Almost. But what would be the point? Emma woke up crying, her throat raw, reaching for me with small hands that still had marker stains from coloring that morning. I held her, stroked her hair, and told her she was so brave, so strong, so loved. We went home to our small apartment. I made her popsicles and put on her favorite movies. I slept on the floor next to her bed that night in case she needed me. My phone stayed silent. No calls. No texts asking how it went or if she was okay. Nothing. 3 days later, life returned to something resembling normal. Emma went back to school, her throat still a little sore but healing. I went back to work, taking on extra freelance projects to cover the medical bills my insurance didn't. The deductible was brutal, but I'd manage. I always managed. Then today happened. I was finishing a logo design for a local restaurant when my phone buzzed. Mom's name lit up the screen. The text message was simple, direct. "We need $5,000 for your sister's vacation to Hawaii. She's been so stressed with work and really deserves this. Can you Venmo by tonight? Flight leaves tomorrow." I stared at the message for a full minute. Not "How's Emma feeling?" Not "Sorry we missed the surgery." Not even a token acknowledgement that my daughter had been in the hospital 3 days ago. Just a demand for $5,000 for a vacation. Something inside me shifted, not broke. It had been broken for years, piece by piece, disappointment by disappointment, but shifted, rearranged itself into something different, something harder, something that finally had enough. I opened my Venmo app and sent Mom 1 cent, a single penny. In the message field, I typed, "This is all you get." Then I turned off my phone and went back to work. 20 minutes later, my laptop started ringing, FaceTime call from Mom. Then another. Then a text from Dad popped up on my laptop screen, "Call your mother now." I let them wait. I finished the logo design, sent it to the client with my invoice, organized my project files, made myself a cup of tea. Then, and only then, I turned my phone back on. 63 missed calls, 47 text messages. Most were variations of "Call me, what is wrong with you? And this is not funny." I called Mom back. She answered on the first ring, her voice shrill. "What is wrong with you? 1 penny? Are you trying to humiliate me?" "No," I said calmly. "I'm just done." Done? Done with what? We're your family. Family that couldn't visit a 7-year-old in the hospital. Family that wants $5,000 for a vacation but couldn't bring a single balloon to a scared child. "Oh, here we go," Mom snapped. "You're always so dramatic. It was just tonsils. Kids get their tonsils out every day." "You're right," I agreed. They do. And their grandparents visit them. Their aunts visit them. Their uncles send cards or flowers or something. Silence on the other end. Emma asked where everyone was. I continued, my voice steady. She asked if she'd done something wrong, if that's why nobody came. We were busy. You wanted $5,000 for a vacation, but you were too busy to spend 30 minutes with your granddaughter. More silence. I need to tell you something, I said, and I need you to listen carefully. I heard Dad's voice in the background. Put her on speaker. Mom did. For the past 6 years, I began. Since Emma was born, I've been paying your mortgage. Complete silence. When Dad's business started failing, you called me crying. You said you'd lose the house. You said you had nowhere to go. So I took on extra work. A lot of extra work. And every month, I've transferred $3,200 to your account to cover your mortgage payment. I heard Mom's sharp intake of breath. I've also been paying your car insurance, both cars. That's $340 a month. I've been covering Dad's medication copays because you said insurance wasn't covering enough. That's about $200 a month. And I've been sending money for emergencies that come up every few months. The roof repair, the water heater, the property taxes. You never said. Dad started. I never said anything because you never asked where the money came from. You just took it. For 6 years. I pulled up my banking app while they processed this. 6 years of statements, 6 years of transfers. In total, I've given you approximately $267,000 since Emma was born. The number hung in the air like smoke. That's not possible, Mom whispered. You're a graphic designer. You work from home. I built a successful business, I interrupted. I work 70-hour weeks. I take on every project I can. I haven't bought new clothes in 2 years. I drive a car from 2009. Emma and I live in a 2-bedroom apartment because I can't afford anything bigger after supporting all of you. Why didn't you tell us? Dad asked, his voice smaller now. Because every time he tried to talk about money, you reminded me that I was the one who ruined my life by having Emma. You told me I made my choices and had to live with them. So I did. I lived with them. And I still helped you. I heard my sister's voice now. She must have arrived at their house. This is ridiculous. You're exaggerating. I have bank statements, I said quietly. Every transfer, every payment, 6 years of documentation. Would you like me to email them to you? No response. I called the bank this morning, I continued. I canceled the automatic transfers, all of them. The mortgage payment scheduled for the 1st of next month? Not happening. The car insurance payment? Canceled. Everything. You can't. Mom's voice cracked. We'll lose the house. Then I guess you'll understand how I felt sitting alone in the hospital, wondering if my daughter thought she wasn't worth anyone's time. That's not fair, my sister shouted. You're punishing us because we missed one thing. One thing? I laughed. Emma's first birthday. No one came. Her first day of kindergarten. No one took photos. Her dance recital. You weren't there. When she had the flu, and I asked for help. Dad said you weren't a delivery service. I was on a roll now, years of silence breaking open. Every school event, every milestone, every moment where she needed family, you were busy. But every time you needed money, my phone rang immediately. The line was silent except for someone crying. I think it was Mom. Here's what's going to happen, I said, my voice calm but firm. I'm done being the family I'm done being the one who shows up for everyone while being treated like an obligation. I'm done teaching my daughter that family means people who take everything and give nothing. So what? Dad said bitterly. You're just cutting us off? After everything we did for you growing up? Everything you did. I repeated slowly. You mean like paying for my college and holding it over my head for 15 years? Like giving me a place to live until I was 18, which is literally the legal requirement of being a parent? Like telling me I owed you for the sacrifice of raising me? No answer. I'm not cutting you off completely, I said. But you have 3 months to figure out your mortgage, refinance, sell, get another job. But I'm not paying it anymore. 3 months. Mom's voice was panicked. We can't possibly. I figured out how to raise a child alone while running a business and supporting all of you. You can figure this out. What about your sister's vacation? It was my sister's voice, smaller now. I almost laughed. Seriously? I already requested time off. Take a staycation. There are lots of free options when you're not expecting someone else to fund your life. More silence. I have one more condition, I added. If you want any kind of relationship with me or Emma going forward, you need to actually show up. Not just when you need something. Real showing up. Birthdays, holidays, random Tuesdays just because. Phone calls to check in. Visits that aren't transactional. You're being unreasonable, my sister started. Then I guess we're done here, I said. Goodbye. I hung up before anyone could respond. My hands were shaking, but underneath the fear, there was relief. The phone rang again. I declined the call. Text messages flooded in. I muted the conversation. Emma came home from school an hour later. Mom, I got an A on my spelling test. I pulled her into a hug. I'm so proud of you, baby. Can we celebrate with pizza? Absolutely. We ordered her favorite and ate on the floor while watching cartoons. She told me about her day. She didn't ask about my family. She'd stopped asking months ago. Later that night, I checked my phone. 112 messages. Most were angry. Some were desperate, pleading. One was from my brother. I didn't know you were paying for everything. That's not right. I'm sorry I wasn't there for Emma's surgery. I stared at that message for a long time. The next morning, I checked my savings account. Without the automatic transfers, I was keeping my own money. I could move us to a better neighborhood by spring. Emma could have her own bedroom. For the first time in 6 years, I could breathe. 3 days passed. The angry messages slowed. The desperate ones increased. Dad sent a message. Your mother is very upset. She's not eating. I replied, I hope she feels better soon. A week later, my brother showed up with Emma's favorite candy. Can I take her for ice cream? I want to apologize. I almost said no, but Emma was watching, hopeful. Okay, 1 hour. He brought her back in 45 minutes, laughing. She hugged him goodbye. That night, she said, Uncle didn't ask you for money today. Smart kid. 2 weeks after my phone call, Mom showed up. I opened the door to find her standing there, looking smaller than I remembered. Can we talk? I let her in but kept Emma's bedroom door closed. Mom sat on my couch and looked around the apartment. Really looked. At the secondhand furniture, the laptop on a card table, the cheap curtains, the reality of how I'd been living. I didn't know, she said finally. You didn't ask. You're right. She twisted her hands. We put the house up for sale yesterday. Found a smaller condo. The mortgage will be manageable. I nodded. Your sister canceled her vacation. Your brother showed her the bank statements. She's working overtime now. Good. Mom looked at me with tears in her eyes. I'm sorry we weren't there for Emma. I'm sorry we took you for granted. I'm sorry we made you feel like you weren't enough when you were giving us everything. I felt my throat tighten. I needed you to show up. Not just financially. Actually show up. I know. She wiped her eyes. Can I see her? Emma? I brought her a gift. Not expensive, she added quickly. Just something I made. It was a knitted scarf, purple and yellow, Emma's favorite colors. I called Emma out. She was shy at first, unsure. But when Mom knelt down and said, I'm sorry I missed your surgery, sweetheart. That was wrong of Grandma. Can you forgive me? Emma's face softened. They sat together on the couch, Mom teaching her a simple knitting stitch with spare yarn she brought. I watched from the kitchen, guarded but hopeful. Things weren't perfect. Dad still struggled with the concept that I didn't owe them continued support. My sister still occasionally made comments about how I overreacted, but my brother visited twice a week now. Mom called to check in, not to ask for money. Small changes, real changes. Emma's 8th birthday came 3 months later. I planned a small party at a local park. Everyone showed up. Mom brought a homemade cake. Dad organized games. My brother brought a thoughtful gift he actually chosen himself. My sister even showed up on time. Emma blew out her candles surrounded by family who were finally present. That night, as I tucked her in, she said, This was the best birthday ever. I'm glad, baby. Everyone came, she said, her voice full of wonder. Everyone actually came. I kissed her forehead. That's how it should always be. As I closed her door, my phone buzzed, a text from Mom. Thank you for not giving up on us. We didn't deserve your patience, but we'll spend the rest of our lives earning it. I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I opened my banking app and looked at my savings account. For the first time in 6 years, it was growing instead of draining. I could breathe. We could breathe. And for the first time in a long time, family felt like it meant something real.